Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, my name is Rabbi David Barnett, and being so new to Rhode Island, this being in essence like my first week, I have such mixed feelings on this occasion, as I'm sure so many of you do. Mark was an amazing man, known to you. His middle name was Sanders, and so many of you knew him as Sandy. He was really, in so many ways, just an amazing man. The best thing that we could say, the highest compliment, and we will refer to it later in my remarks, is that he was a mensch. That implies not just the normal things that any individual can do, but to rise really to the highest aspects of quality, character, caring about others, loving his family, loving his wife, his children, being a mentor par excellence, a quintessential teacher. This is part of who he was. And it permeated every aspect of his personality, his being, his presence, his contribution to the family, to the synagogue, and indeed to our entire country. I'm going to continue in spirit here with our service by chanting a very beautiful psalm. This is Psalm 121, and it really speaks of God's presence around us at all times as a source of strength, inspiration, and comfort. I'm going to chant it first in Hebrew just to give us a feeling and a setting for our service, and then I'll give a translation in English. Esa enai el harim, me'ayin yavo ezri, ezri me'im Adonai, ose shamayim v'haaretz, aliten namut raglecha, al yanun shomrecha. Hine lo yanum velo yishan, shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilecha al yad minecha, yomam hashemesh lo yakeka, v'yareach b'alayla. Adonai yishmorecha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmotzeitcha uvoecha, me'ata ve'ad olam. I will lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? The source of my help is the Lord, creator of heaven and earth. He will not let you falter. Your guardian does not slumber. Surely the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. He is at your right hand to protect you. The Lord, your keeper, gives shelter. The sun will not smite you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. The Lord will preserve your soul. He will guard your going and coming from this time forth and forever. And I'd like to share with you a few passages from our tradition, giving us thoughts of inspiration, hope, and comfort at this time of loss. From Psalm 73, my flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart. He is my portion forever. An inspiring thought also from the prophet Isaiah, from whom we have been reading so much during these last 3 weeks, and will continue to read so much in the following 7 weeks in our Haftorah progression, thoughts of hope and comfort. From Isaiah chapter 41, fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will sustain you through my power. As the family was sharing with me so much about Mark's life, and even then, we've still only glimpsed details. First and foremost, I realized that we are talking about a unique individual, a man with wholeness and tremendous integrity. And in that sense, I would like to share with you the classic words of Psalm 15, which in so many ways, it truly seems, could have been written just for him. O Lord, who shall dwell in your sanctuary? Who shall abide upon your holy mountain? He who lives with integrity, does what is right, and speaks the truth in his heart, who has no slander upon his tongue, who does no evil to his fellow man, who does not reproach his neighbor. In his eyes a vile person is despised, but he honors those who revere the Lord. He takes an oath even to his own harm and does not change. He does not lend money at usurious interest. He does not take a bribe against the innocent. Whoever does these things shall stand firm forever. In so many ways, Mark was a teacher, as we're going to hear, that permeated so much of his life. But from the prophet Malachi, we have an insight into the spirit of that. True instruction was on his lips, and he did not give voice to unrighteousness. He walked with the Lord in peace, uprightly, and he turned many away from iniquity. Sue was sharing with me when I had a chance to speak with her on the phone, Sue Seidel, sister to Helen. Just 3 weeks ago, they were walking together on the usual 1.5 mile walk or whatever they did. Vibrant, alive, fully with it at every step. It's so hard for us to understand with limited human perspective the whys and wherefores of the timing of human events. Later on, at the cemetery, I will highlight that theme in a little different aspect and manner when I talk and give an introduction to the Kaddish prayer. But for now, there is a section from the Wisdom of Solomon, which is part of the apocryphal literature that I'd like to share with you, which in so many ways points to this mystery and alludes to it. A righteous man, though he dies before his time, shall be at rest. For an honored old age does not depend upon length of time, nor is it measured by the number of one's years. For understanding is gray hair for man, and a blameless life is old age. Being perfected in a little while, he fulfilled long years, for his soul pleased the Lord. And we're going to talk momentarily about his interaction with the family and his teaching. And so, again, from the apocryphal literature, I would like to share this phrase and thought. When a man who is taught his children dies, and grandchildren we're going to expand to, he really is not dead, for he leaves behind those like himself. In his lifetime, when he sees them, he rejoices. And even in death, he does not grieve. It's just my personal practice. I like to mention the names of the immediate family members as they are shared with me before I go into remarks about the person. And so to Helen, Michael and Liselle, Lisa, Andrew and Amy, Rebecca, Benjamin, Jacob, Samuel, and Isaac in absentia at this moment, but he will be joining us later, as well as Claire, Mark's sister, and Morris, Yafi, Bob and Paula, and Sue. Marc was born in Providence, Rhode Island, graduated classical high school in the class of 59. He went to Providence College in 63, started in chemistry and liberal studies, then went into the ROTC, the Army Artillery. He served in Oklahoma, and in September of 64 went to Korea for a period of 13 months as a battery commander. He was at that time age 21, 22, and served in time there as an aerial observer on the DMZ, the demilitarized zone. He went in as a second lieutenant, came out as a first lieutenant, and gave very patriotic service to our country. He spent 6 months in North Carolina and then at Fort Bragg later. And meanwhile, before all of that, he had met Helen. They were childhood sweethearts. He had met her in 1957 at Classical High School. She was a freshman. He was a junior. They got married in 1963, the year that he graduated from college. After leaving Fort Bragg, he went into the family business, which initially had been started as a pawn shop, then went into photography, and then morphed later into computer sales and distribution. Now, a key insight here from our tradition is we ask, well, who is wise? And the answer is given by the rabbis, he who can see a trend. And he saw a trend. Now, initially there, the business was allied with Bell and Howell, and they were involved in sharing technology-driven products used in the school systems. And Bell and Howell was an initial partner of Apple, and so there happened to have been a trade show that he went to. And at that time, at this trade show, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak were sitting in the far back at a small little table. At that point, they were unknown, but they were introduced through the auspices of Bell and Howell. They formed a cooperative or business relationship and ended up really being able to be pioneers of distributing computers in schools all over Rhode Island, as well as being a forerunner of the commercial applications of this. Their company was initially United Camera and then in time transformed to the name of Unicom Technology Group. And I think what's key in this, there are a number of things that come out of this that the family would really like to emphasize. First, of course, he had this willingness to embrace change and to evolve. And he learned really this from his father, Aaron, of blessed memory. And he was fully supported by Aaron, and Aaron was so happy to see him have such success before Aaron's own passing, and he was extremely proud of him. And all of the children, now adults and competent, and many related in technological fields themselves, really all felt so grateful to have been raised at the forefront of this technology. But he retired in 2010, and after that, the company was sold. It changed name, but it's still today vibrant and very active. But what is most important, and what the family really, I think, is the dearest to heart, is that he was not just a tremendous businessman having insight and success and things like that, but he was a true mentor. He shared his willingness to succeed, and the willingness, most importantly, to have other people succeed. So he was a tremendous mentor. He thrived on being able to give opportunities to other people. And he took great, great joy in that, and in mentoring them along the way. He gave them avenues of growth. And I know that he made a tremendous difference, as I was told, of the professional careers and for so many people throughout the years. In terms of some of his hobbies and interests, he had a tremendous involvement with this synagogue, Temple Torat Yisrael. His parents were founders of the original temple, and he was a lifelong member, and then with Helen since 1963. In 2012, it's important to share that he was instrumental in leading the capital campaign to build this magnificent sanctuary and this magnificent facility. And his name, with Helen's there, is on one of the honorary blocks as you enter this beautiful and dignified sanctuary. He was an avid fly fisherman. this was more than just a little passing hobby. This was a passion throughout his life, and integrated so many family wonderful memories with this sport of his. They would take family vacations. They went as far away as New Zealand, Montana, Oregon, California. And of course, his favorite spot was the local Wood River here in Rhode Island, where he would be found there, I guess most often in his canoe from April through June, almost daily, weather permitting. And he loved to travel and ski. We're going to hear more about the fly fishing in conjunction with the grandchildren in a little bit here. But he was also an excellent cook. And indeed, also, he was, I am told, a voracious reader. He would read anything that he could get his hands on, essentially. But he especially loved mysteries, spy stories. He would read both fiction and nonfiction. Truly a man of continuing lifelong learning. And what a wonderful legacy that truly is for all of us. He was a great supporter, probably before it became fashionable, of protecting the environment. And in his own fishing, he strictly adhered to the principle of catch and release. Now, I think that's absolutely tremendous. He would really just give the fish back to nature there. But even more significantly, what are some of the qualities of his character that are so special and that will remain so special, really, in the memories of everyone who knew him and in the family? He was very supportive of everyone in everything that they did. Most significantly, he put his own interests and his own needs really last behind really those of everyone else. He was kind. In the view of the family, he was 100% good, well liked by everyone. He was a natural teacher, sweet and selfless. And so in so many ways, he took such a joy in mentoring others and in sharing his own life skills. He really wanted to bring out the best in everyone, in yourself and others. And in so many ways, that's the epitome of a teacher. He was energetic and kind. He was nurturing. And he had the true ability to help people succeed no matter what their age. And he certainly enjoyed seeing them grow and evolve. Claire shared with us in the family discussion that whether he was really teaching, whether or not people realized he was teaching, he was always in teaching and sharing mode, and he was always there for advice. The family has special memories of when he would carve. He would be the official carver of the Thanksgiving turkey. And something that he learned from his father, his beloved father, Aaron, he was the historian of the family. And so he was the one who really could tell a lot of stories. He was an 18-year survivor of pancreatic cancer. And what came out of that? What came out of that was, again, so many of his excellent qualities of character, his bravery, his positivity, the fact that he could be upbeat and resilient no matter what the challenges, a certain sense of tenacity, of being tenacious in the face of so many challenges. He was certainly proud, without going into details of their respective professions and lines of work, which is all very interesting. He was especially proud of his 3 children and his 5 grandchildren. And indeed, I had an opportunity to speak at some length, although limited, with each of the 5 grandchildren before our service here today. And I'd like to integrate and share with you some of the things that they shared with me. So this is not necessarily in any particular order other than the order that I got the information and gleaned it from them. So I first spoke with Jacob, and he has wonderful memories of when, with Sandy there, they would be flying airplanes, paper airplanes, off Mark's balcony from his bedroom to the living room. And he taught him how to fold planes, and he remembers that skill till the present day. Most importantly, even, he was very accepting and supporting. They all felt that they were loved and supported no matter what they would do or what direction they would choose to go in. And they were always treated as young adults which is so special. After he beat the pancreatic cancer, he emphasized that the point of life, as Jacob recalled it, was really to enjoy it, but to particularly enjoy it in the context of sharing with the family, and how special indeed that was. Samuel recalled with me how the memories of basically going fly fishing with Mark, and most interestingly enough, he tied all of his flies together from a hook and feathers, and he would be independent. Samuel shared how he would, even to the end, lift up his 70-pound canoe by himself and bring it to the water there. And they have great memories of numerous fishing trips, particularly one that Samuel shared when they went to the Mackenzie River in Oregon and caught some trout. And yes, I would have been tempted to want to eat it. They threw it back. He was a huge Patriots fan. And Samuel shared that. The New England Patriots, he was one of their biggest fans. So that was very, very special as well. And Rebecca shared some thoughts with me. She has the distinction and privilege of being the only granddaughter amongst the grandchildren. And in so many ways, he helped her get on her feet whenever challenged. And he was very happy to see her be successful and in college. And he was also very fascinated and happy to see her drawings that she did. And these were color drawings. And I'm glad I asked the technical detail. These were done digitally. So she has tremendous talent in that area. And he was supportive of her all the way. And then I also had the chance to get some feedback and some insights here of appreciation from Benjamin. And Benjamin is a Boy Scout. And he has participated in joining Troop 2 in East Greenwich here. And in so many ways, Mark played a huge part in that. He was willing to help out with his own questions and his own challenges regarding leadership and how to become a leader in a group of scouts and how to work with others. And he was so delighted to know that Benjamin is on the route to becoming an Eagle Scout, and he was absolutely thrilled when he attained the rank. It's really the penultimate rank in the traditional scouting, which is the rank of Life Scout. And he was thrilled when he attained that rank. And Benjamin has wonderful memories. He would bring him out to a pond, and he really loved the canoeing even more. That was so something that he will always treasure, memories of being in a canoe there with his grandfather. I was able to speak with Isaac by phone first, personally, and Isaac reemphasized the theme that he really got his pleasure by helping others. And Isaac, they grew up 5 minutes down the road, so he would spend a lot of time with them. And he remembers there was a particular 5-year span where it seems that Sandy had a particular, almost an obsession in Isaac's language there with the Boston Celtics. He would be watching basketball every single day, and occasionally watched it with the grandsons, which again gives them wonderful memories and reminiscences. And he nurtured to a very, very strong degree Isaac's burgeoning interest in technology. All of the grandchildren felt unanimously, of course, that Mark, their grandfather, was just the quintessential mensch. He was everything that they could have wanted, and I believe they could have asked for in a grandfather. They will all have special memories of him, as well as everyone else who was fortunate to interact with him in his life. So if we look back at the overall picture here, even in a limited version of Mark Sandy's life, we can see a full life, a life of productivity, a life of love, a life of companionship, a life of mentoring, a life of contribution to the community, a life of participation, and certainly bravery, a willingness to serve our country, and really to take such a deep and sincere interest in the lives of others. And in all of those aspects, we can say, Yehi zichrono livracha. May his memory be a blessing. And we can pray, Tehi nishmato tzura b'tzora chayim. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life, that bond that indeed connects all of the generations, past, present, and future. And we can say, Amen. And at this time, I would like to call upon Cindy Davis, a cousin, who is going to share some remarks that were jointly composed by Claire and Bob. So we'll invite Cindy to come forward.
Thoughts from siblings growing up with Sandy. The wide age gap, 6 years and 11 years, gave us distinct memories from different family eras. Before us, Sandy endured the tragic loss of a younger brother that left a mark, with a K, on all of us. The significance of numbers repeated in our lives, both grandmothers were superstitious about them, more than just the usual 18 of Chai. Good things came in threes, and Sandy, Claire, and Bob were dutifully good. Most of the time, our fearless big bro stared us straight before the parental units got wind. Of course, the middle one, the only sister, was proud of it. She was Sandy's one and only, and he was kind to her, most of the time. Bob worshipped big bro, and an 11-year edge allowed him to know a guy who was into cars, girls, pipes, and the Army at a very early age. In the early years, every Sunday we religiously visited both grandmas. First, we climbed the steps up to Bubby's tenement in Providence. Sandy was close with our dad's mom. Bubby was the first to get he was close to our dad's mom, Bubby, and was the first to get our weekly fix of walnuts and golden raisins and hugs. Then we'd continue the drive to the farm in Chepachet to visit our mom's mom, Grandma Etta, Sandy's favorite. Etta Jagalinzer was raised as a farm lady on a shtetl before coming to America. She was equally adept at slaughtering chickens and cleaning wild caught fish. Sandy would sit on her yellow outside sink at the farm and learn how to gut and scale bluegills at an early age. Sitting under the cherry tree, eating watermelon in the summer, skating on the pond and listening to Auntie Belle's classic music that Uncle Dave had piped to the huge elm tree by the pond beach. That tree with the bench around it saw us laughing and sipping hot chocolate. Those were our family's golden years. Sandy loved to reminisce about this time. It was formative for all of us, but especially for him. In our middle life, we lived at 75 River Farm Road near the Horton Elementary and Bain Junior High Schools. There were candy necklaces from the penny candy truck on the way to school and fries at Burger Chef thereafter. The neighborhood would come over for Halloween and bob for apples. Sandy was into early jazz, listening to the I Dig Chicks album by Jonah Jones with the buxom lasses on the cover of the coveted 33 cover. Sandy meets Helen. Claire peeps out the upstairs bedroom window to see what she really looks like when she learns that Sandy is cautiously bringing a girl home for some people to meet. Bob gets to drive Sandy's first car on a trip to Providence, picked up Helen at her mother's home. Lottie loved Bob, and the feeling was mutual. He'd never had real German chocolate before. Sandy and Helen get married. The first family grandson is born. The golden light shines briefly. Then Korea happens. Sandy hears he must go to war. Bertha, our mom, freaks out about the average lifetime of an army man in Korea. She also famously brags about her son flying 6-winged planes. Sandy had pretty decent penmanship, but Mom read the F's as an S. She thought she was divulging military secrets, but didn't care. She was so proud of her eldest. Sandy returns, the family settles, and Lisa and Andy are hatched, and Helen and Sandy take over the sacred family ritual of hosting the annual Thanksgiving meal. Passover is still at our mom and dad's house. Bertha is thrilled with the growing family, and Aaron has a new candidate to ask before questions. Later, life goes on. Sandy takes over the family business on Elmwood Avenue and evolves it into a thriving multi-location technology company. Bertha tragically dies young. Aaron meets Muriel, and a dark period is once again followed by some golden years. Sandy continues to host Thanksgiving. His siblings provide the need to set up more tables as their kids are hatched. Of course, food played a central theme, and Helen's chestnut stuffing and Aunt Sue's plum pie set new standards. Needing to be the first one to taste a nugget, Claire and Bob stand around the counter watching Sandy's exquisite carving of the ever-growing turkey year after year. Sandy was always happy to oblige. He always took care of everyone. Author's note. I didn't intend this to be a biography of Sandy. It came from notes made during a tearful reminiscence with my one and only yesterday at his house. I usually would ask him to edit something like this before sending it. I can hear him telling me, "It's too long." I'm listening, big bro. The wrap-up. Our dad gets sick and dies. Sandy tragically suffers from the same thing and fights and survives. The business transitions and Sandy can rest and do what he really wants to do, this time for himself. He fly fishes at his beloved sanctuary on the Wood River nearly every day. He and Helen ski and travel. He devotes his renewed energy to the temple, to his family, and especially to his grandchildren, all of them. He especially loved teaching his passion for fly fishing to them. They will all hear forever about his fly tying jig at the farm, about the worth of the marabou feathers from guinea hens, and the importance of trout anglers' mantra, match the hatch. Sandy, you truly did. You set the best template for all of us.
Thank you so much for sharing all of those very special memories and reminiscences, Cindy, on behalf of Claire and Bob and the entire family. Almighty God, Lord of the living and the dead, the hearts of your children who mourn are heavy with grief. Give them comfort. They were overcome by pain and tears. Help them to remember the triumphs and the joys in the life of Mark, Sandy, Davis. They are overwhelmed by loss, O Lord. Help them to treasure what is theirs because Mark lived. Help them to meet grief with courage, to confront the angel of death with life. When despair threatens, when faith falters, sustain us all, O Lord, our refuge and our strength, our ever-present help, and let us say, Amen. The next portion of our service consists of a very beautiful prayer in the Jewish tradition. It is titled the Malayracha prayer, and it takes its title from the first three words, meaning God full of compassion. And it's in this prayer that we ask for God's protection and compassion upon Mark's soul. I will chant it as is traditional in Hebrew, using his Hebrew name that was given to me by the family, and then give you a translation in English. It is customary to please ask you all to please rise then at this time for the Malayracha prayer. Malayracha shochen ba'amromim Amatzei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashchina b'malot kedushim kedushim utorim כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת מרדכי בן אהרון הלוי בברינה שהלך לעולמו בגן עדן תהי מנוחתו. אנא בעל הרחמים, אסירי בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו, וצרור בצרור החיים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו. ונאמר, please join me in singing Amen. Amen. O God, exalted and full of compassion, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence amongst the holy and pure, to the soul of Mordechai ben Aaron Halevi Bebrina, of Mark S. Sandy Davis, who has gone to his eternal home. Master of mercy, we beseech you, remember all the worthy and righteous deeds that he indeed performed in the land of the living. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. The Lord is his portion. May he now rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. At this time, we'll invite you to please be seated. And I would like to call upon Jackie, our funeral director for today, to come to the bima here and give us instructions as to how we will proceed from this site to the site of burial. Come on up here to the mic. Thank you so
much. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to inform everyone of the Shiva times. In addition to everyone being invited to the family's residence immediately after the burial at Lincoln Park, the times of Shiva, which are also listed on our website, as well as the handouts that we had given you. It's going to be at the family's residence, which is 60 San Martino Circle, and that is in Warwick. The times are Sunday the 14th from 7 to 9 p.m., Monday the 15th through Thursday the 18th from 2 to 4 p.m., and 7 to 9 p.m., as well as Friday the 19th from 2 to 4 p.m., and Saturday the 20th from 7 to 9 p.m. Again, that's in addition to today after the burial that we're having at Lincoln Park. As we are exiting, I'm going to ask that you please wait until we have taken the casket out, as well as the honor guard and the immediate family members have left the sanctuary. We will have anybody that is going to the cemetery, please go immediately to your vehicles, as we will form the procession to drive to Lincoln Park. Just ask that everyone has their high beams on and their flashers. We do have permission to run stop signs and red lights, obviously within your own caution, just everyone being very careful. And the address for the cemetery is on the handout as well, just in case. Of course, Lincoln Park Cemetery, 1469 Post Road, that is in Warwick. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to Jackie's remarks, I just will add that we are going to be having Minyanim prayer services also at 7:30 p.m. Beginning this evening through Thursday, and then also on Saturday evening. They will be held by Zoom. I will be leading them, and then we can go from there. So at this time, we can continue.